Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 299 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on March 31st, 2026. How are all you wonderful folks doing? I hope you're doing well. Things are good on this end. Today is absolutely wild. We're closing in on the 300th podcast episode, and in fortunate coincidence, we have something very exciting to share with you. It's a new AAC silencer. Yeah, the 762-SDN-6. And no, you're not in a time machine in 2011, and this is not, in fact, an April Fool's joke. No, this is real. AAC is a new company now, and they have brought new, modern iterations of the old legacy silencers to current market. Yeah, it's brand new stuff. One of those silencers, the 762-SDN-6, is back in 3D printed Inconel and is honestly, after evaluating it, it's probably one of the most advanced silencers we've ever tested. It's a true switch hitter in the 30 caliber space, and we're going to give a quick intro to those two reports today, actually. Today you're going to see it on the SR25, and you're going to see it with subsonic 300 blackout on a bolt gun, and it really does incredible on both. It really is versatile, and that's very rare that a silencer can do that. So we're going to go into that. It's very exciting. And before we get into that, we're going to hit the technical talk for the Magco Arms EDS-30L that was published last week. That silencer really came out of nowhere, and it put up some wild performance on the board. It cracked into the top 5 on through-weight bolt gun, and it did so with an 8-inch total length with its mount. And honestly, the fact it did that should probably give some people some anxiety, if we're being honest. Like the level of competition is really nuts right now. So, and that silencer's not even 3D printed. They just stood by and watched Pew Science for a while and decided when to strike after going after the top contenders. It's literally a Cinderella story with that, and it's amazing. Okay, so I just want you to know that this now concludes March Madness. I hope you enjoyed the insanity, and so this is like that finale of March where it's like, here you go, it's April 1st, and now you can have all of this, and you can sit back and ponder, and I can at least take a week off from writing these reports for you because I'm tired. Okay. Let's get on with the show. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you back. If you like silencers, you're in the right place. If you're new to the podcast, same. Glad to have you. Coffee's in the back. If you need to know how to navigate, timestamps are in the episode description of every episode, no matter where you're listening. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, the website, doesn't matter. All right. So you can skip what I'm about to read you ads. Okay, of the people who make this podcast possible. So you can skip these if you want using the timestamps. But if you don't want to, guess what I'm going to tell you about right now? Legion Athletics, that's right. Nothing you do in life is worth doing without consistency. You have to do things all the time if you want to excel at them and be the best. Legion Athletics can help you with that. Whey protein, pre-workout, post-workout, vitamins, minerals, creatine, all kinds of stuff. I think they recently even have prenatal vitamins for women. It's nuts. They don't have everything you need, but they do have a lot of it. LegionAthletics.com. There's a link in the show notes. Code word Pew Science. Buy one, get one, 50% off your entire shopping cart. Keep using the code every time you buy, and you will get 20% cash back, which goes directly to the supplements you'll buy, which you'll keep buying because you'll use them because you'll feel so good. Get swole. It's important. The podcast is brought to you by Silencer Shop as well. Very large distributor of silencers. They're literally shipping out silencers with semi-trucks every day, like multiple. With the current demand, it's nuts. The cool thing about Silencer Shop, besides the volume, is their kiosk that is present in dealers nationwide, where you can do your fingerprints and photos electronically, and it lets you simplify your silencer purchasing process. The really two huge things, like if I was a silencer consumer, I'm not anymore, but if I was, frankly, the money back guarantee and not paying a transfer fee is a pretty big deal. So those alone are pretty important, okay? Just you and your silencer with no drama. Truly a silencer ownership simplified. Speaking of where to get silencers, Top Gun Range Houston has been with us for a very long time. Kyle and his gang are excellent resources for silencer knowledge, silencer purchasing, and they run a 15-lane indoor shooting range in Houston. So if you're on a business trip, you really need to go check them out. Go hang out with them, talk about silencers, shoot some suppressed weapons, shoot some machine guns, pick from the largest firearm rental fleet in the entire state of Texas. They're pretty cool. All right, topgunrange.com. They also like memes, so send them those on Instagram at Top Gun Range. Capital Armory also sponsors our podcast. They do think silencer education is important. They find the value in that. They are true NFA junkies. They're a large dealer. They can ship silencers nationwide directly to your door if you live in one of the 42 states where silencers are legal. And that's a big deal. Yes, that's very good. That's very good. I understand. That's great. And they probably want me to tell you that. What impresses me most about Capital Armory is their actual silencer knowledge. From top to bottom. It's not like, oh yeah, they have one guy who knows about silencers, or oh yeah, but the owner doesn't know a lot about silencers. No, they know about silencers from top to bottom. And even if they weren't sponsoring us, I'd tell you that it's well known that they have actual suppressed small arms knowledge, like from top to bottom, from their owner down to their gun store employees. So it's important that you understand that and you interact with them appropriately. They will help you, okay? Finally, this podcast is brought to you by the Pew Science Laboratory. I'm the technical director of this lab, 6 years running now, which is really cool. We're celebrating our 6-year anniversary this month. And in the interest of public education, I continue to do this podcast for you folks, and I think it helps. We really want you to understand the research. We don't want to just put numbers on a page. We think that's irresponsible. And so 6 years ago, we set out to change the industry, and we did. And you helped us do it. If you want to see how we do it and did it and will always do it, pewscience.com. All right. The suppression rating is there, simplest, most accurate hearing safe rating for suppressed small arms. It's used worldwide. It examines the entire gunshot from before the combustion takes place all the way until all the combustion is gone, all the mechanical operation from the weapon system has ceased. It's the home of the silencer sound standard, guys. There's 8 sections, and it is the most in-depth and accurate silencer data analysis on the planet, and it's all with your help at pewscience.com. And speaking of help, you can support it. You are a part of this just by listening, and you can support it further if you like. All right. You can join with a membership at pewscience.com. It supports our public testing. It keeps the lights on. It keeps this effort going. You can do a one-time donation if you want to on the review page of the podcast page. And if you don't want to give any money, that's fine. You can just enjoy all of this for free. And we just ask that you spread the word. Give us a good rating or thumbs up or whatever you're listening on, whatever social media platform. Share it with your friends. Educate you, your family, your neighbor about suppressed small arms and their hazards. Make the world safer and more lethal and cool by using silencers. All right? Silencers and guns are awesome. I got 3 topics for you today. First, we'll do the in-depth technical talk in topic 1 of the Magco Arms EDS-30L. That's report 6219. Then topic 2, we're going to go into the intro for report 6220 with the AAC 762-SDN-6 on the SR25. And then we'll hit topic 3, which is the intro to report 221, which is the AAC 762-SDN-6 on 300 blackout bolt gun. All right. Let's move into the introduction to topic 1 at a time of 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Okay, very good. Good. I could not be more pleased on this 6th anniversary celebration of what we're presenting to you. This is just what a cornucopia of combustion analysis. I could not be more pleased with the effort. I could not be more pleased with your support and how it's all happened. So topic 1, Sound Signature Review 6219, the Magco Arms EDS-30L and the 20-inch 308 bolt gun. Okay, extreme performance in an 8-inch length envelope. It's a newcomer to the space, Magco Arms. We're going to go through a technical deep dive. I'm going to structure this in the intro and recap, which is what this is. We're going to go through the EDS-30L overview. We're going to go through the technical silencer design. We're going to go through Hazard Map Brief 8.1.16. We're going to go through the detailed system performance, and then I'm going to give you my overall thoughts. Okay, so that's Alpha through Foxtrot subtopics. They're all going to be tagged in the video description or the episode description. So when we first launched this is the intro. So when we first launched the standard, we filled the 308 ratings pretty quickly. Those of you who were there back then, 30 caliber silencers were some of the most popular things out there at the time. It was actually very rare to have dedicated 5.56 silencers even be talked about commonly, except for the mainstays like the 5.56 RC2, the Saker, the Knights NT4, the YHM Turbo. Like those were like the really the popular ones that you would talk about, and there were others too. But you get my point. No one talked about dedicated 5.56 silencers en masse, and there's a reason, and one of the reasons why 30 caliber silencers were mostly on people's minds was because somewhere along the way, the industry convinced consumers that 30 caliber silencers were all you needed and that they were universal rifle silencers because 5.56 performance really didn't change between them and dedicated 5.56 models. Like, it wasn't true, but that's what they were trying to convince you of. Okay, one of the reasons they thought that, one of the reasons they had that misstatement to you, that bad information, was because the testing methods were not showing a difference because no one was testing silencers correctly. Real talk. This is verifiable historical record. I'm not just blowing your skirt up. I'm being real. It's one of the reasons PewScience exists now. Okay, so now 6 years later, what you can do, you can see what they were saying to you about the performance of 30 caliber silencers on 5.56. You can see that it was patently false, and now we have more specialized silencers for specialized applications. Now, I mean, be honest and ask yourself, is it because all of a sudden the industry changed their minds all of a sudden? Like all of a sudden? You can answer that for yourselves, why it happened. Okay? So you look at this silencer. This is indeed a 30 caliber rifle silencer, but it is not, in fact, something that someone back then would have told you was appropriate for 5.56, I don't think. I mean, I don't think knowledgeable dealers would have told you that. You're still going to get the dealers who will sell you anything just to make the sale, just because they have it in stock and the silencer company salesman sold it to them. Yes, that's always going to exist in any item, not only silencers, but anything. But most knowledgeable dealers would not be selling this to you for use on a 5.56 AR. Okay, I'm just setting the stage for what this silencer is. So, but because it's stainless steel, this Magco Arms silencer, and it's not that expensive, okay, you might be tempted to put it on a 5.56 gun, and it probably wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, it'd probably be pretty quiet, honestly, but it's 8 inches long, and there's probably more appropriate options for you nowadays if you're trying to optimize size with support, performance and back pressure and all that stuff. So what I would say, where this silencer shines is where it's literally intended to be used, and this silencer was literally developed to be a competitor with the CGS Hyperion, and this is what I was alluding to in the introduction to the episode. The reason I know this, that it was designed to compete with the Hyperion, is because the person that owns Magco Arms and designed the silencer told me that. So I'm not speculating. It's right from the horse's mouth. It's not hearsay or anything. This is a Hyperion competitor that's shorter and cheaper, and that was what they set out to do. The Hyperion had or has a target on its back for a long time. What happens when you're on top for a while? You get a target on your back. In competitive spaces, doesn't matter what the sport is, doesn't matter. And they became a CGS with that Hyperion became a performance benchmark, and people started to chase. Now since then, the performance has been eclipsed, and you'll see it's still out there. And it's really interesting to see what's now being created, even with traditional manufacturing methods. Some of you may remember that the Hyperion was originally not even 3D printed. Originally, it was welded. Anyway, so you look at this Magco Arms EDS-30L, and you ask yourself, well, does it live up to the intent? Does it live up to what it was supposed to attack? Does it provide the same or better performance to a Hyperion? And I think the answer to that is yes and no. In pure suppression performance on a 308 bolt gun, absolutely. It's damn close, and it edges out a little. I think where are the rankings at? I think I have those in front of me. I think it might edge it out a little bit in the pure suppression ratings. Now, can it do other things the Hyperion can do with like a unique high early time flow rate and stuff like that? Well, no, I don't think it can. But also, this thing's like way more inexpensive and it's shorter. So there's a lot of give and take here. So that's important to think about. And so in the big picture, the fact that this EDS-30L exists is a really big deal to me personally. For one, it shows that Pew Science made a difference. Okay? Nobody would be chasing the Hyperion if it wasn't for Pew Science. I promise you. And the reason I know that, the reason we know that, is because the Hyperion existed before Pew Science for a while. Okay? It just had not been characterized correctly. Okay? And getting the performance package that you see here with this Magco Arm silencer, something 8 inches long that can perform like this does, it's a tremendous contribution to the state of practice. That's another reason why this is a really big deal to me, because of what this is, and now it's in the silencer sound standard. Okay, so those are the two reasons this is a big deal to me. It makes me super proud of it as an example of the effort working, and the product that was created is going to help consumers in a big way. There's literally no downside to the situation from a consumer standpoint and from a lab standpoint to me personally. Because remember, I don't sell silencers, so I don't care what you buy. So if someone out there in the silencer industry is taking this as an attack on them, well, that's their problem. But we don't care, right? We want what's best for the consumer. Okay? That's right. Everything about this silencer existing is positive. And to top it off, the icing on the cake to this whole thing, it's not even 3D printed. It's traditionally welded. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the overview, 18 minutes, 14 seconds. Excuse me. I tell you what, if this, and I have it here on my desk in front of me, it's kind of shiny, 8 inches long, it's a hub mount, don't have a mount in it right now, stainless steel. I tell you what, if this thing was flat black, I think it'd be awesome. Get the spray paint. I'm talking about my personal preferences. A lot of you who know me know I don't ever field shiny silencers on guns. I think it's weird. The EDS-30L is 1.6 inches in diameter, 7.8 inches long without a hub mount coupler installed. That's the bare length. So if you have a recessed direct thread mount or something, you want to make this thing less than 8 inches past your barrel shoulder, knock yourself out. Now, when we tested it, we used the direct thread mount they included with it, and I think sell with it, and that made it 8 inches long flat total. So for a high performance 30 caliber rifle silencer, that's actually not super long. There are two important silencers of the last decade. Well, there's a lot, but there's two silencers, two important silencers over the last decade in particular that I want to mention. That's the Rugged Surge and the Thunder Beast Ultra 9. Okay, both very, very good silencers, very important silencers. Both of those silencers are 9 inches long. Okay, there are things about the Surge and the Ultra 9 that I would say maybe a little elevated above the Magco Arm silencer, But in a gross sense, the EDS-30L is actually more advanced than those two silencers, and it is eclipsing their gross performance in an inch shorter length, which is a very, very big deal at this level. Okay? We are now, in speaking about this silencer and these other silencers, we are in the upper echelons of supersonic rifle suppression technology. Okay? Not many sit on the hill up here. When another player gets up here, even if you're not in the market for something like this and you don't care, I do urge you to pay attention anyway, at the very least, so you can understand the type of technology that got it here. It's important to understand how things are hitting these high numbers, because I don't want you to think this is magic. It's not magic. Okay? It's engineering. Okay? Okay. Now, this is a stainless steel silencer, and it is actually something that you don't see a lot from silencers like this nowadays in this purpose. A lot of them are going titanium due to the weight, and they do that because of the large size. As the silencer gets larger, you're going to get heavier, so you switch material to keep the weight down. That's like very typical for the use case on bolt guns. If you're humping your gun for a while in the field, you don't want to have a 2-pound hunk of metal hanging off the end of your bolt gun barrel that might be long. It's reasonable to expect you would want a light silencer. Now, this one is not super light. It's a little over a pound without a mount. That's 17.2 ounces. The mount's 1.4. So if you can find a lighter mount, maybe you shave off half an ounce. Maybe I think it's 18.6 ounces with the mount. Is this a super light hunting silencer? No. Is it a super high performance hunting silencer? Yes. It's all about what matters to you, okay? Now, you think about this material more, and the material might be an important factor for some people. Like if you decide to use the silencer on a shorter barrel weapon, and you need more heat capacity, maybe you need more sparking reduction, something titanium won't necessarily give you, maybe this steel construction is appropriate for you. Maybe it meets your needs, okay? It's something to think about. Stainless steel is not nickel-based. It's not Inconel, but that does not mean it is not extremely durable. I think people underestimate the durability of stainless steel. It is seldom that you will destroy a stainless steel silencer with normal use. It is not common. Most of you do not shoot nearly enough to damage the silencer. I promise. Okay. All right. Now let's speak more technically now about the internal design of the EDS-30L and its engineering. I think we've covered the outside enough. Okay. Let's move into subtopic Charlie at a time of 23 minutes and 4 seconds. Okay. 1 second. Drink of water here. Okay, subtopic Charlie, the silencer design of the EDS-30L. Okay, so this is, of course, where the magic happens. Okay, I'm serious. Remember through the years when we've spoken about stagnation relief and the really neat thing the Omega baffle had going for it? Excuse me. Remember all those discussions we've had? Remember the movie theater analogy? Yeah, that was a fun episode. That wonderful coaxial curved cone thing that SWR did back in the day. In a pure sense, the design principles of that baffle system are really solid, and it's an effective strategy for high pressure flow suppression. Now, the EDS-30L, it does not use an Omega baffle in a pure sense necessarily, okay? But it does use some features in a way, and equally, I would say, it uses some features from Hyperions, from Nomads, from some other famous designs. The major takeaway here, geometrically, is that the silencer is using curved and stepped cones that are ported to annular space in each baffle in the array. And when you are able to relieve pressure stagnation through basically at this point 10 stages in the silencer because it has 10 baffles, our observations over the years indicate that you will have highly efficient suppression. Now, this suppression should be highly efficient as the input pressure increases or decreases as well, which is actually a really good benefit of this type of silencer, and it's a really important thing to understand. And just as a prelude or as a little teaser for you, I can tell you that this silencer has also been evaluated with lower pressure combustion input on a subsonic host, and it also performs very well on that. And so that just some foreshadowing for you. Now, the reassuring thing about all of this is that this technically should make sense to you. Like if you cut the silencer open, this should really make sense. I'm not going to post a photo of a cutaway because this is actually a patent pending design. So I don't think they're wanting to show this to people. When you eventually do see the internals of this silencer, and you will see that no, you are not crazy. The performance exhibited by the silencer should be roughly what you're seeing in the data that we're going to go through. You're not going to see an inconsistency in geometry and measured data here. And I know that's like a weird thing to say, but it's important you know that that's a good litmus test for the efficacy of the entire thing we're doing here. What you wouldn't want to happen is see the type of data we showed you and then look at the silencer and it looks like a thunder chicken or something inside. You'd be like, that I don't believe you. I'm like, I know you shouldn't believe me because that'd be wrong. I mean, there's ways to check this if you understand the physics. Okay, there's a lot of ways to review this. I think we're now at the point where it's very hard to get super surprised at the performance of a silencer once we see the internals of it. Now, without seeing the internals, there's really no possible way to know how a silencer is going to perform until you test it. And it doesn't matter who makes it. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside at all. And it doesn't matter how big it is. And that's why we were so surprised when we did this analysis. We did not know what was inside until later. Remember, I told you we don't tend to look inside stuff before we test it. It's just, it that takes away some of the magic, and I like the magic. I mean, a lot of the magic has been taken away from me because I see the peek behind all these curtains. And, you know, I don't have to wait for stamps and things like that. So a lot of the magic of NFA ownership is gone from me. And some of that makes me sad sometimes. But so when there's chances for me to keep some of that magic around, like when I get surprised about test results, I try to maintain that for myself. That is a personal preference, just a little something I want to share with you. I love silencers. So, you know, this is a job. But I still love doing it. Wouldn't be doing it if I didn't like it. And this is really the best part of this Magco ARMS report to me. The whole project was that it just performed so well. I cannot tell you how pleasing it is when I get to call a lab client and say, "Hey, are you sitting down? Let's talk about these results." And it just tickles me pink to be able to share excitement with someone that I value in the product for. It's a really cool part of being a consulting engineer. It's a really cool part about running a test laboratory. And this is not the only test laboratory I run. So I get to do the good, the bad, and the ugly with many different industries, not just silencers. Okay, so it's like for me, I do it a lot, and when the news is good, boy, it makes everybody feel good. Okay, 1 second. So now, getting back to the silencer, if some of you are new, let me explain how this type of silencer works. The blast baffle is symmetrical. This is to force reflections from the muzzle jet back in a radial pattern, and then as the gas jets through the first reflector hole around the projectile, it's not going to have uneven jetting components necessarily. The gases, of course, you need to understand that they're traveling faster than the projectile is after the projectile uncorks. The gases are traveling faster. Okay, so there are vents In the baffle throats in the silencer, they go to annular space around each baffle. Then the baffle throats themselves are stepped curved cones. This is a turbulence generating feature along the main flow boundary. So as the turbulence increases, the efficiency of heat transfer increases. The more heat you can transfer from the combustion gases before they exit the silencer, the more efficient the signature suppression can be, all other things equal. And that is a general rule. Okay. Now, where this silencer steps it up a notch, it's how it handles the gas volume in the way I discussed earlier, the stagnation relief. Now, there comes a point in some silencer geometries where you start to form high pressure zones that don't allow further gas expansion during the time regime of interest, which is an important caveat there. Remember, this is all happening dynamically in a continuum. You have a certain time to do work here. The clock starts, and it's a fast clock. There is combustion input into the silencer, and it is blowing down to the outside of the silencer. It is a dynamic pressure vessel. During the blowdown time, the silencer's job is to do the most it can with the gases. So the stopwatch starts as soon as the precursor flow enters that silencer. There might be 1 or 2 or 3 baffle lengths before you start dropping in efficiency in the silencer, and the number doesn't matter. I'm just telling you it can vary. What matters is where you do let the silencer start to relieve the high pressure stagnation. Where do you start to cut the tail off of the quasi-static load pressurization in each chamber? That's what you should be asking yourself. And when I say quasi-static, I say it because, of course, the pressure state is not static, but relative to the duration of the gunshot and to the structural response of the silencer itself, it could be considered static in relative time. That's why we say quasi-static. Okay, it's because of the stagnation duration. Okay, this is a blast engineering term I am giving you on purpose, so you know the words. Okay, I'm not making up words. I know a lot of people get mad because there's big words. I want to give you the real words so you have them. Okay, it's not secret. Okay, this is like decades and decades old science that we use in other fields. Okay, cool. So when you want the silencer to cut the tail off of those stagnation zone pressure histories, you got to decide where do you want the silencer to do it, or where, when do you want the silencer to do it? So like in a rule of thumb way, I would say you want to cut the tail off as soon as you can get past a critical impulse accumulation. And the reason I say it that way, in that special way, is because I don't think you can do it with a peak pressure. I don't think you can say, oh, once I reach this pressure, I'm going to cut it off. No, I think you have to look at it in a continuum and see how much energy each chamber should be responsible for. That's if I were king for a day, I would do it that way. Energy methods can be good that way, in a gross sense. If you want to do it on a pressure basis, if you want to hold duration constant, well, that's up to you. You're the engineer. So that's what designs like this, and Omega baffle silencers or Hyperions or Nomads or other stuff do. That's what they're doing to take the peek behind the curtain, guys, to show you like how these are working in a physical sense. That's what they're doing. They're cutting the tails off stagnation zones, and they're dropping impulse progressively in the silencer. Now, does it make back pressure high? Well, yeah. The nature of the silencer and the way it works will increase back pressure. I didn't say it was perfect. I'm just telling you how it works. It's one of the reasons it works so well. And that's just this design. Okay? And that goes to one of the points I said earlier. I told you the silencer is meant to compete with Hyperion on a gun like this. And it does. But I also told you, it can't do some other things a Hyperion can do. It can't. No. It does not have a super high early time flow rate. And as the pressure gets really high, it's possible, and now untested, but it is possible that maybe a Hyperion would eclipse the performance. Maybe it starts to pull away. Now, does that, like, for instance, that hypothetical case matter to you at all? Maybe not. Okay, but you know, getting down to brass tacks, this thing is probably half the cost, and it's over an inch shorter and is hub compatible. So, okay, like let's be pragmatic. All right. So let's look at the hazards from this thing. If you put it on your deer rifle at a time of 35 minutes and 8 seconds. Okay, 1 second. Okay, let's pull up the hazard map brief here. This will be Article 8.1.16 in the standard on pewscience.com. This is free for everyone and public. Okay, so bolt gun hazard maps. Oh, man, I tell you what, these are wild. You're going to see a subsonic one here. Not here, but I'm sorry. Today you'll see a subsonic one with the AAC can we're going to talk about. So wait for that. Let's talk about this one here, the Magco arms. Now, oh man, I wish I had these when Pew Science started. I'm sorry it took me so long to come up with it. I admit that I should have done it sooner. If you're new to these, if you pull up 8.1.16 on the website, there's a link in the show notes today. Then you can click on the map. Once you get to the thing, you can click on the map and make it bigger. You are looking at human risk spatially from the top down. Yeah. This is a bird's eye view. Yeah. It's a top-down bird's eye view of the risk field for people. And the risk is shown in terms of suppression rating. 0 means a lot of danger, and you better have ears on. Danger, it's red, bad. 100 means you don't need hearing protection ever, and that's really, really dark green. Remember, numbers between 0 and 100 have graduated scales of risk based on the dose chart on the website. It's the same suppression rating throughout all the hundreds of reports we have and the hundreds of rankings in the rankings table. It's all on the same scale, 0 to 100 everywhere, and it all comes from the real hazard fields that are modeled here with these maps. Okay, that's the long and short of it. Okay, so you don't have to remember what you're looking at. It's the suppression rating. It's a constant, 0 to 100. Same number on every single test. Okay, now the really neat thing here is that this shows you if you are in the middle of a field, standing up, and you shoot this bad boy in your deer rifle, you probably don't need to wear hearing protection. Now, I know that sounds crazy, especially if you're new to silencers and you shot a 308 bolt gun before. You know how loud that is. Now, you can still wear ears, and that's fine. I'm just telling you, if you're about to shoot that deer and you forgot to put your earplugs in, you're going to be okay with this silencer, even when you're shooting a supersonic 308 cartridge out of your rifle. And that's a really big deal. That's a really big deal to know. And this map also shows you that if someone's next to you, they probably won't need ears on either for that shot. Now, if they're kind of sitting in front of you off to the side there, well, it's going to be louder for them. But if they're behind you, well, according to this map, oh boy, they're going to be really well protected if they're behind you. Okay, so think of your kids, think of your dog, think of your wife, think about your hunting buddy, think about yourself. Okay. Now, if you're sitting on the ground or you're in a blind near a tree line, expect these numbers on the map to drop a little bit, okay? Now, because this thing's getting you into the 50 zone at the shooter's ear, that should leave you some nice buffer just in case you're near a trees or something. As I always say, be conservative. Conservative's good. Buffers are good. Now, I hope this spatial representation of the risk field helps you understand the dangers of the weapon system. That's what it's intended to do. It's not that there are no hazards. It's just that there are reduced hazards. If there was no hazard, well, the whole map would be dark green and the suppression rating would be 100 everywhere, right? Or something like that. But it's clearly not. There's plenty of red and orange and yellow on the map. So use the map, learn it, use the scale, mind your P's and Q's, and you should be good to go, okay? This is, like, when in doubt, be conservative, I would say, okay? 1 second. We're talking about human risk. So when in doubt, be conservative. All right. Now, I just want to say, if you have a question about how this map was generated, you can check out Article 8.1.1 on the website, where we debuted these hazard maps and the computational tool that generates them. It is called PewSoft HD. It uses the raw blast data that we measure in the free field, and it uses wave propagation physics to map the entire domain computationally. So the muzzle and ear ratings you see on the map are calculations from the true ground truth measurements at those locations, at the mil standard measurement locations in accordance with the silencer sound standard. The rest of the continuum is calculated from propagated waves at the grid resolution. Okay, if you look at the map heading on this Magco Arms hazard map, you can see that there's a 3-inch grid resolution. It's written there. Okay, and the map is 3 meters by 3 meters. So every 3 inches in that 9 square meter box, there's a full blast pressure history being analyzed by the code. You see, the result of each of those analyses gets you a suppression rating, okay? So each point in space has a suppression rating, and that is what is plotted on the map, okay? Those contours, they become risk contours. Why? Because the suppression rating is a risk metric, and we made it spatially. Okay, you get it? So another important thing to understand about the map, it is valid where? Well, what does it say? It's at the end cap elevation of the silencer, which is where? 1.6 meters above the ground. Why? Mil standard test location. Silencer sound standard is the strict interpretation of mil standard 1474 echo. The largest and most robust and accurate interpretation of mil standard 1474 echo in the history of mankind on the internet publicly. Literally. That's why this map is at 1.6 meter elevation. Now, because we took a slice through the domain, right? Well, guess what? What if instead we sliced the domain differently and we took a slice 1 inch off the ground instead of 1.6 meters above the ground? Well, the map would look different, wouldn't it? What if we sliced the domain such that we were 20 feet above the ground? The map would look different again, wouldn't it? That's right. Remember, this is a 2D plane cut through an elevation of 1.6 meters, mil standard height. That's where we measured the data. It doesn't mean we can't propagate at other places. I'm just telling you. Okay? Hope it makes sense. Now then, let us look at, now that you understand it spatially in the big picture, we can see like the silhouette man there with his rifle and how much in danger he is or is not. Let's look at the raw blast data to see how the silencer ticks and how this map was even created at a time of 42 minutes and 47 seconds. Very good. Making great time, I believe. Subtopic echo, system performance. I'm going to pull up report 6219 on the website. I'm pulling up the member review. You can, and report, you can pull up the free version if you're home following along and you don't have a membership. That's fine. You won't miss anything. I'm not going to alienate you. Sorry about my voice. Okay. So, report 6219. Detailed, starting from the top, bottom line up front, 40.3 suppression rating at the muzzle, 1 meter left of the end cap, 1.6 meters above the ground in the true free field, 52.9, 6 inches right of the shooter's right ear. That brings us to a composite suppression rating of 53.3 on the 20-inch 308 bolt gun. Okay, now then, do I have the rankings up here? I think I do. This thing is in 4th place with its composite rating on this host. How nuts is that, dude? Out of nowhere, Magco Arms breaking into the top 5. That's a big deal. Like every time it happens. And I think mentioning it is important. Is this a competition? Yes. It is a competition. It has to be a competition. That's the nature of the entire effort. What, you think I didn't want you to have competition and innovate? This is just as much for me as it is for you. Now, do you need to always have or be the number one silencer in the rankings? Well, of course not. Do the rankings help the industry and the state of practice? Well, history has shown over the past 6 years the answer is yes. Case in point, this silencer. If you want to learn more about why that's important, listen to the episode again, the previous subtopics. I talked about this earlier today for you. Why the effort made a difference and why the silencer even exists. Okay? Yes. Now let's scroll. And by the way, this is not the only silencer that exists because Pew Science did what it's done. There are others. There are companies that exist because of Pew Science. Yeah. In case you ever doubt that your help and support matters, I want you to understand how much it matters. You guys and girls have really changed the industry. I'm telling you. Now let's scroll down to now you see the suppression rating graphic, then you're going to see the map right below it. You're like, oh, I've seen the map before. I looked at the hazard map brief. I'm like, I know you did. Good job. So that's all old hat. Now let's all scroll all the way down to figure 1 until you see the squiggly lines and the blast overpressure in the free field. That's right. Now, this is really cool. You're going to learn something. Figure 1, figure 1A, figure 1B. This should immediately show you 3 very important things. Figure 1A, entire time regime. What do you see right away? Mach wave decoupling. But not only that, something else must be with the Mach wave. Wow, what's that? That's weird. Interesting. Hold that thought for a second. We'll come back to that. That's weird right away, but hold that thought. We're going to keep going. Then you see low amplitude jetting. Okay. Now you see really long blowdown. Really long. What? Really long. Look how long it takes to blow down. That Mach wave was around 30 milliseconds or so, and there's over 55 more milliseconds of duration past that first event. Still hasn't gone down to ambient. That's an unbelievably long time to blow down a dynamic pressure vessel, isn't it? Yeah. And so what are you seeing there? Like at a high level? Well, you're seeing free field measurement that complies with the MIL standard. That's what you're seeing. How can you know that? How can you be so certain? Well, you can see the full duration and it blows down to ambient without reflections. If you don't see a waveform like that, it's likely that the testing was not performed in accordance with the MIL standard. Because the MIL standard doesn't let you reflect off of walls. It would contaminate your data during the time regime of interest. So why would you think that's okay? It's not okay. It's never been okay, and that's why Pew Science has never done that. We're always in the free field. And we're looking at the 219th report, guys. Okay. Just as we've been doing this for 6 years, I want to let you know what you're looking at. Okay, cool. So how would you do that without the free field? Well, you wouldn't be able to physically unless you cheated, right? You'd have to lie. You would have to lie or omit information. It's the only way. Now, zoom into early time in figure 1B. Now, I told you I was going to come back to that Mach wave. Now, exactly what you thought you were going to see is what you see in figure 1B. Coupled jets and then extreme throttle. But what is the weird part that shows up that you kind of saw when you first looked at the full time scale waveform? It's that coupled jet during the first shot. It is way higher amplitude than the second shot. In other words, at a little bit after, at around 30.1 milliseconds in figure 1B, the black curve shoots up super high compared to the blue curve. Okay. On the plot, you can see that there is a difference of roughly 5 dB. How would you know that? Because both peaks are labeled in the logarithmic pressure unit of dB. Okay. Because that is a logarithmic unit, it might not tell you a lot because humans are not equipped to understand differences in logarithms very well. Some are, some aren't. So why don't we do this? Look at the linear pressure units instead, which are on the vertical axis of the plot, because remember, of course, the data in the continuum there is plotted linearly. It's labeled logarithmically. We don't plot waveforms logarithmically. It would be nonsensical to you. So look at the linear pressure units on the vertical axis. You can see that you're somewhere between 200 and 250 pascals during the shot 2 peak, and then you're over 400 pascals during the FRP peak. So in a rough sense, you're about twice as high in pressure amplitude during the first shot as during the second shot. At roughly the same time the bullet Mach wave is getting to the pressure sensor. What's a bullet Mach wave? It's the flight noise. It's the Mach wave coming off of the bullet breaking the speed of sound in the medium it's traveling in, which is air. So why would one of the spikes be higher than the other one? It's because was it because the bullet was really big and it had a bigger Mach disturbance in the first shot and we changed bullets in the second? No, of course not. It's because it's not from flight noise. It's because you're seeing more severe jet coupling during the FRP. Because that is a coupled jet. It is not a Mach wave only. What this is telling you is that this silencer has a performance deficiency in FRP control from the jump. From the jump. And guess what? It's not from the internal combustion. Look at the internal combustion before that. It's those waves are lying on top of each other. It's not that. It's when the gas comes out. It's when the gas comes out. Okay. Now, is it super bad? Well, no. If it was super bad, the suppression rating wouldn't be as high as it is because FRP would have tanked it. Now, is it trivial? No, it's non-trivial. It's non-trivial. Okay. The global signature during the first shot is about 50% more severe than subsequent shots on average to the human ear. A way to wrap your mind around that would be to look at the blast momentum. Let's look at the blast impulse plotted in figure 2, the next set of plots. Here, you can see that the black curve runs away early. Yes? Yes. It starts with that first pulse coupled with a bullet Mach wave. You can see a momentum accumulation in early time in figure 2A and figure 2B. You can see that. Yes? Yes? Yeah, it happens that early. That's not normal for it to happen that early. I'm telling you. Now, again, let me beat this horse until it's dead. Some folks don't realize that when you measure a silencer's signature and you think you're getting a clean decoupling of the Mach wave at the mil standard measurement location, it's actually contaminated. It is not pure bullet flight noise. There is a coupled blast jet there. We have proven that empirically with hundreds of reports. If you want pure bullet flight noise, you have to move the pressure sensor further downrange so that the muzzle blast time of arrival gets longer so you can decouple the Mach wave as the bullet passes the sensor. Understand? Then, in effect, you will be decoupling the Mach disturbance if you want to study that phenomena. Like, if you want to do that. I'm just saying if you want to do that. Because remember what a very well-known silencer company did in their own test standards that they published, that now they gather everyone to test with them. Remember what they told you? What they used to tell you? That, oh, well, we just delete that part of the waveform because we don't need it. Except what they weren't realizing was that it wasn't just the bullet Mach wave. There was jetting coming out of their silencer too. But they were truncating it because they didn't care. So, okay, well, they weren't learning. I'm not saying they still do that. I'm saying they did that publicly, and it was like a big thing that we all saw, and we're like, well, that's not right. I'm just telling you, like, again, I'm telling you this to teach you. People that make silencers have made this mistake. And there's people that make silencers that don't even look at this. So as far as like who is like on the cutting edge, it might be you listening that's on the cutting edge now. Okay? Very well-known companies have made this mistake public. I'm trying to help everybody. Even with whiz-bang quiet bolt gun silencers, your Mach disturbances are contaminated at the mil standard pressure measurement locations. It is physical reality. Now, can you almost get pure Mach wave with some silencers? Well, probably. But if you think that first couple jets going to be the same between all silencers, you are in a dream fantasy land. And if you think you can't learn something from looking at those either, you're also in a dream fantasy land, or you're in denial. Okay, we look. I mean, this is the technical talk. We're going technical because it's you got to know this stuff. You got to know it. These are fundamentals. You got to keep your chops sharp if you're gonna do this stuff. Now, elephant in the room here. How quiet's quiet enough for you on a weapon like this? Because remember, the very fact that we're even talking about jet coupling with a Mach wave, it should let you know that like you're really trapping gas. How quiet is quiet enough for you? And then you ask yourself, well, despite the FRP, which is clearly there, is this silencer going to do what you need? Now, consider it's 8 inches long. It is likely that you don't have a silencer that performs like this for the same length. It is likely that you at home who own silencers, it is likely that in your arsenal, you do not own a silencer that performs like this for the same length. It's likely that you don't. Now, you might, because we haven't tested everything, but it's likely that you don't. And remember, so we haven't tested everything, so I have to give that disclaimer. But looking at our data, we simply don't see performance like this until we get longer. Like this Magco Arms EDS-30L is now in the discussion with the Dryza 30, the Enticer L, the JL, the Cat JL, the Nomad L, the Jolene, the Hydrogen L, the Mach L. Notice all the L's in the names. The EDS-30L has an L in the name too. But what is different? It's 8 inches long with the mount. Is it high back pressure? Yes. But so are most of the other stuff I just said. Okay? Now, is this PTR Vent 1 levels of performance? No. That's still on a hill by itself. That thing's nuts, dude. That PTR Vent 1, it's ridiculous, dude. Now, is the performance jump from this to the PTR Vent 1 worth it to you? Like, to go from this to a Vent 1, like, is it worth the cost or whatever they cost? I don't know. I'm not you. I don't know how much money you have or what you're going to spend. But now you know how it stacks up, and that's probably important. And keep in mind the suppression rating. How often are you shooting? You're just going to shoot a deer twice a year, and that's all? Well, then maybe you don't care. Maybe why are you even looking at 8-inch silencer? Maybe you need a 6-inch silencer. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying like you could have options. Now, there is a member version of the. If you are a member and you're following on with a member report, Pew Science members, look at those signatures. And I do want to say something for the record, and this is really important. If there was ever a textbook example of first round pop and how it is not limited to a single peak, this is it, guys. I mean, if you're not a member, I would urge you, pay the $7 or whatever it is. Look at Figure 3A in this report. Like, cancel membership afterward. I don't care. Whatever. Just beg, borrow, and steal. Look at Figure 3A. No, please don't steal. But get a membership. Look at Figure 3A. That figure shows blast loads at the shooter's ear, and you can see what we call FRP divergence in such a meaningful way. It shows you how the blowdown over a relatively long time window is differentiating itself during the first shot from all the subsequent shots, and it illustrates to you why you would hear something differently during the first shot. And I think this is good to see because it helps put things in perspective. It helps you understand that even in these very fast transients and all these different waveform features that you're seeing, some systems have phenomena occurring that are happening for a very long time relative to the other signature features. And when we look at this, when we're trying to figure out how dangerous the signatures can be for you or your buddies when you're shooting, it helps quantitatively. I just want you to know that this is real. It's real as a heart attack real. That's the really cool thing about testing. If you've ever, if you're an engineer out there and you don't have empirical experience, I bet your mouth is watering right now, because what's better than a test? Remember, all models are wrong. Some models are less wrong than others. Some are useful. All right, but test data, it's right there, guys. It's real. Real as a heart attack real. All right, let me give you my overall thoughts now about this crazy silencer at a time of 59 minutes. 24 seconds. All right. Now, scroll down the report. There are two bar charts. You're going to have figure 5 and 6. Okay. If you need the full 308 playing field, please use the rankings in section 7 of the standard. That's pewscience.com/rankings. Now, figure 5, it's going to show all the silencers on this gun less than 8.5 inches long, but at least 8 inches long. So between 8 and 8.5. EDS-30L is crushing here. Okay. Now, figure 6 shows all the silencers greater than or equal to 8.5 inches long, but we put the EDS-30L on there, even though it's only 8 inches long for comparison. Still crushing. So that's the takeaway here. Mainly high performance, regardless. For the size, extremely high performance for the size. Welded baffles, stainless steel, not that expensive, hub mountable. FRP, yes. But that might be workable for you. It's all about what you need. Shiny, but you could paint it if you want. I don't know. That's it. That's the silencer. Okay. Thank you to Magco Arms for trusting us to perform this work. I know you were very excited to have us test this, and now I see why you were so excited. I think you did a very good job, objectively, and I hope to see more from you. And you guys will see this on Subsonic 300 Blackout 2. Just wait. That's it. Hell of an entry into the space. Okay, now let's do something really crazy. Let's take a trip down memory lane, but with a modern twist at a time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 4 seconds. Oh, I'm so excited right now. Sound Signature Review 6220. The new Advanced Armament Company AAC 762-SDN-6 on the 14.5-inch SR25 is, like I said in the intro, it is not 2011. No, it is in fact 2026. And this is a brand new iteration of this famous silencer. It has high flow rate. It has high suppression performance. It's updated for the modern age. So let's do an intro to the first of 2 reports published on this silencer today. Well, tomorrow for me, today for you, which will be live at around 0700 Central Time on April 1st. Wednesday. I was telling my team at our 6th anniversary dinner the other night, I think it's so cool that this silencer is being evaluated by us in close proximity to the 300th episode of the podcast and in close proximity to the 6th anniversary of the standard. To me, it is very fortuitous. Let me tell you why. AAC, Advanced Armament Corporation at the time, not Advanced Armament Company, which it is now. AAC was a pivotal force in the silencer industry. What Kevin Brittingham created, not only with the products, but with the brand itself, it literally shaped the entire industry. And it shaped silencer history in the United States in large part. Now, was it the most important company? No, I don't think it's fair to say that. I don't think that's fair to a lot of other companies. But I think to dismiss it and dismiss its contributions, I think would be disingenuous at the very least, I think. And so that's the first part I just wanted to say for the record here. And Kevin knows I think that. I've told him that before. The second part I want you to know is that this new AAC 762-SDN-6 is so much different than the original version. It's not the same sport, and I am saying that without even having tested the original 762-SDN-6 yet, which we will, believe me. Oh, we will. Remember, we've tested legacy AAC silencers on the website before. The original AAC silencer was the follow-up to the 762SD, and that silencer was longer and had an Inconel blast baffle and stainless steel baffle stack. When the SDN-6 came out, it was full Inconel, the whole stack, and it was a little shorter. And those were both big selling points at the time. You know, back then, fully welded Inconel baffle cores were not common. Knight's Armament did it. AAC followed suit. AAC actually followed a lot of Knight stuff back then. It's in the name of their company, remember? Like Knight's Armament, Advanced Armament. Remember back then, Griffin is actually Hearing Protection LLC, but their common name is Griffin Griffin what? Griffin Armament. Both AAC and Griffin, they drew inspiration from Knights, and you can tell that to this day. Very heavy inspiration, like super heavy, like neutron star levels of density heavy inspiration. Forget my drift. Now, AAC marketed the 762 SDN-6 as a dual 30 caliber silencer before that was really a thing. Really. And back then, people, I remember, I was around, people were putting it on anything they could fit through it. And that continues to this day with that silencer is in a lot of places. It's a very, very prolific silencer, the legacy model. Now, AAC got sold to Remington, and it eventually then died, as things tend to do. There was some back and forth and some ownership stuff. And now, the really cool thing, like that very, very recently has become official, is that there are new owners of the brand. And again, it is no longer Advanced Armament Corporation like it was back when the silencer debuted in 2011. No, it is Advanced Armament Company. And the folks that made this new silencer possible made something really neat. Really, really neat. And they've made this new one. They've made a new M4 2000, and you know what? We've evaluated the new M4 2000. You're going to see that too. And the really cool thing about that one is because right away you're going to be able to see how it compares to the original M4 2000, which is on the website, like I told you earlier, the Mod 8. So for now, what you're getting today, you're getting this new 762 SDN-6 data, and that brings me to what makes this, or makes me the most excited about this, like besides the legacy stuff that I just talked about, that I think is just so cool that we're able to dovetail with our anniversary and with how many podcast episodes. The performance of this new silencer is absolutely bonkers, and the reason I say that is because it's a true switch hitter, and we know that because we tested it in multiple combustion regimes per the historic silencer use in the legacy namesake. The first report you're getting is of the silencer on the SR25. It's an amazing test case for it. You got to trust me. When you see the data, you're going to see, oh, this thing has a high flow rate. Oh, interesting. Oh, and it's definitely hanging in suppression performance with high pressure rifle. Okay, good to know. And then next, also today, you're going to see something really nuts. The subsonic low pressure performance, which is actually insane performance by any modern standards or historical standards, especially for the size. So coupled with the flow rate, we might have a contender in the versatility mix, I think, here. It's very, very rare objectively to combine this type of performance in both combustion regimes, in the two tests you see today into one product. It's very rare with the flow rate and everything. It's very rare. So this silencer's Inconel, and I know you're going to think this is weird. I thought it was weird too. The silencer you can buy is Inconel. What did we do? We tested the titanium prototype. I know. Don't ask me why we were sent to the titanium version. Because I don't know. It is what was sent to us. I don't control that. It's hub compatible, unlike the legacy version. For those of you who remember the death of the 51 tooth ratchet mount, you have been rewarded with a hub compatible flexibility in a modern version. Without a mount, 7 inches flat. But you know what? It does include a mount. And get this. You're going to get a kick out of this. It's got a hub coupler that comes with it that's 1x16 left hand. And guess what the flash hider is called? Blackout. That's right. It has a blackout flash hider, the 1x16. Ooh, that's going to ruffle some feathers probably if you know all the history. Yeah, so they get to use the blackout trademark name, I guess. Crazy. And Again, I'm going to say this again. I'm proud. I think this is appropriate for the 6th anniversary of this effort. What a time to be alive that Pew Science is doing this. We're the first ones to show you the engineering analysis of this. Isn't that crazy? I was a silencer consumer back in 2011, ogling over the silencer. the original, and now I'm running the lab evaluating the new one. It's like that meme with Michael Scott shaking hands with the dude in the office thing. Now, since we don't have an Inconel version at the lab, going off their specs, I think that Inconel version's about 20 ounces. I think the titanium R&D unit we tested was around 10.3 without a mount. So whatever. Yeah, stoked to show you guys this report on the SR25. Now, real quick, let me give you an introduction to what you're going to see on Subsonic 300 Blackout, which I think is really actually very important given the history of where 300 Blackout came from at a time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 18 seconds. Topic 3, report 6-221, the 762 SDN-6 on 300 Blackout bolt action. Look at this. Think about the trifecta craziness we have right here. New AAC silencer being tested on a Q rifle with subsonic 300 Blackout. Those are three things that should go together like peas and carrots for different reasons, but look at the granularity of the reality. How crazy this is that it's happening like this. Okay, so that's the first thing that's crazy. The second thing that's crazy is, like I said before, and like I said in the report 100 times probably, it is not often we see high performance with subsonic 300 Blackout from a high flow rate silencer. It's not often. Okay, so again, intro talk to the second report published today. And let me give you a little bit of a historic tidbit right now. The people who originally made this silencer in 2011 said, and I quote, when employed on a 300 AAC Blackout, the overall SPL of 126 decibels with subsonic ammo is quieter than an HK MP5 SD. Yeah, that's what they said in 2011 in marketing copy when the silencer was launched. That was 15 years ago. Now, whether that is true or not, it has no bearing on the discussion. It doesn't matter at all. We'll find out. When we test a legacy silencer, I'll tell you how quiet it is. We'll find that out. That's fine. What I'm going to tell you today is that the new modern iteration of this 3D printed 762 SDN-6 not only has a super high flow rate, but its subsonic 300 Blackout suppression performance is bonkers. That's the technical term. When you see the hazard map, it's going to look pretty wild. There's going to be a lot of green. That's a good thing. You're not used to seeing that. It's going to look a lot different than the map you saw from the SR25 just a second ago. What? 2 maps, 1 silencer? That's right. The silencers perform differently depending on the host? That's right. You're not used to seeing green on the hazard maps. We've been blasting you with high-pressure supersonic death for a few weeks now in March Madness. Now you got to welcome the calm, soothing risk field of subsonic bolt gun. That's right, you. You don't have to clear your sinuses when you shoot a smaller weapon system necessarily. You can, in fact, kill things in stealth mode. You can be ninja quiet with a 7-inch silencer. You can then turn around, put it back on your AR-10 or on your SCAR and blast away. All this and more can be yours with modern advancements in silencer technology. The silencer industry has really come a long way. We owe a lot of that to the original AAC. I think the modern advancements that have paved the way for technology like this silencer, well, I think we owe those modern advancements to 2 things. I think one huge one is 3D printing is allowing more designs to come to life out of the wonderful minds of the designers. And I think the second thing we owe it to is you guys listening that have supported this effort so we can quantify all this and show you what works and what doesn't work. Show the world what works and what doesn't work. And boy howdy, does this silencer work. Hybrid design. Super high early time flow rate. Listen up. It might make your MCX malfunction. It flows so fast. Yes, I know. We'll get to that. Suppresses supersonic or subsonic 30 caliber like a champ. 300 Blackout first round pop is almost not there. The performance is wild. It makes a SIG SRD 762 QD TI completely obsolete in ways I don't think you understand. It you know what? And honestly, this is a really crazy thing to say. It kind of kills a CAD ODB on 300 Blackout. Now, I'm not so sure about 5.56 yet, but on 300 Blackout, on an SR25, it actually outperforms an ODB. Yeah. So guys, this is a big deal. The fact that it's a new AAC silencer just makes me want to crack open a beer and shoot some rounds to the Tyrant 45. From the old Skull and Crossbones 1911. You'll get that too, I promise. So big thanks to the new AAC for trusting us to be a part of history. I'm super honored. I mean that like from the bottom of my heart. I mean that. This means more than you know. Both AAC 762-SDN-6 reports are live around 0700 Central in the morning for me. Today for you, Wednesday morning, 0700 Central Time, US. Go check them out. I cannot wait for you to see them. So this concludes March Madness. Okay, guys? Thank you for your patience during this month. Please stay safe. I'll talk with you folks again soon. And next episode, on episode 300, we're going to do a deep dive, of course, for these two reports. And then maybe we'll do listener questions or something for episode 300 there, Okay? Seems like a good idea. All right?